Hey students, Mark Ferrier here. This video is going to go over the research essay assignment. So, congratulations on making it this far into the class. One of the things now that you want to be considering is how everything that you've done up to this point is actually going to be useful for this research essay, this final research essay that you're writing. So, let's get to it. Your basic task here is you're going to propose an idea for a climate change, environmental protection, public service announcement. So you can kind of decide if there's not something really in climate change you want to do, you can do something in environmental protection, but you'll choose from one of these two and you're going to propose just an idea for that public service announcement. So you're not actually going to make one, you don't have to write out a script for one, but you do want to propose an idea that's going to be supported by research and evidence. So do take into consideration the work that you've done so far and make sure that you choose a topic that you're comfortable writing with for the next couple days and for the final portion of this class. So it's going to be something you're going to research and look into, so find something that's going to really allow you to work with this for a long time and look into and research the issue. So first up, choose a topic or subject. So you're going to go to second artifact options, and there's a list in there for additional sites, and then also there's poetry and short fiction. So you can decide what you want to do, but let's go ahead and click on second artifact options here, and then that's going to bring, you'll recognize this from the comparison essay. All right, and one of the ways to kind of choose an issue or topic is to scroll down here, and then here's a list of, let me open a few of these so you can kind of go and see what I'm looking at here. There's a list of additional sites here that are related to climate change and environmental protection, and then also you recall these from previous assignments, there are some on poetry and short story options on climate change and the environment. So on the additional useful sites, you'll see one here. There's sort of articles and archival information on climate change. You can kind of scroll through these and click on any of these. And then also here's one of the links, Earth Care and Environmental Activism. There's some articles here that you can do, that you can use as sort of a basis and a topic. This one you see here, disability activism, practice of desert kinship, and so on. You can see, let's click on this one. On this page here, there's some really interesting archival work, and so it gives you links to the actual material. So this is, let's say, the American Meteorological Oral History Project, and then here it gives you a little bit of description of what this project is, and then when you click on that link you can go and access more material and archives. And so here we got boat stories, Marine Museum Oral History Project, and so on. So these are more oral projects here that NOAA has put together. But going back to this second artifact options, you can see here that there's a bunch of other sites that you can kind of choose from. All right, so once you have that understanding, you've chosen a topic or subject based on one of these sources, then you're going to want to consider different contexts that you're going to look at this topic. So let's say, let's go to this climate change link here, and let's say, will climate change cause more mass migrations? So with mass migrations and climate change, then one of the contexts you want to think about is, how does that fit in with activism and advocacy? Politics or policy, how can we think about migration as a political issue or an activist issue or an advocacy issue? What about finance and economics? How does migration and climate change factor in with finance and economics, culture and society, and others? So you'll only pick one of these. The list is down here. So here's a different list. Here's a list of different contexts. These are the contexts. So you want to choose one of these as sort of the lens or the focus. What you're going to do is you're going to explain what the issue is. So that's the issue you've chosen. And then what the context is, that's going to be the lens that you're looking through this in terms of this particular circumstance. And then you're going to discuss the size of the debates and specifics of the problem, and conclude with an argument where you choose a side, and you're going to now, in this argument, you're going to address the problem according to research you found, and end with an idea for PSA to advocate, for PSA to advance your idea. All right, so you're thinking about, here's my argument, here's the debate around activism, advocacy, and migration, for instance, and then an argument where I'm going to side with or make on how to address this problem of one of these problems that are listed here that I've chosen from. Again, there's lots of other choices, or if there's something addressed, let's say in the short story, in one of the short stories, and you want to talk about one of the poems and how it addresses a problem and look at the poem through a certain context, you can do that as well. So once you've explained the issue in the context, discussed the debate, made an argument where you side with or argue for how to address the problem, then you're going to end with an idea for a PSA. So you're just going to tell me, here's an idea, if this is my argument for this controversy, or here's how I fit into this debate, here's how we can make a PSA to advance or advocate for my idea for how to address this issue. All right, so you're looking at a little bit longer here now, 1,750 to 2,500 words of text. You do want to find at least 4 sources. 3 have to come from that PIMA library database that we've had here and that you've been looking at for the previous assignments. And the purpose here is to develop argumentation, research, critical thinking, writing, and persuasive skills. So here in a list format is your instructions in terms of the context. So context means surrounding information, circumstances, conditions, situational factors, and so on. You're choosing a topic like, let's say, climate migration, or a poem that's dealing with environmental protection. And what you're going to do is you're going to think about how your issue exists in one of these fields, one of these contexts. All right, so maybe you want to focus on industry and workforce, and you'll do some research on industry and workforce and your topic and talk about that. So you're not using all of these, you're just picking one. Now, don't try to write about too many contexts and factors. So even in industry and workforce, there's a lot you can say in culture and society. Pick something very narrow. And then from there, what you're going to do is review your notes and work from the close reading and comparative analysis essay. Pick that topic in context. Research the topic in context. Use that annotated bibliography that you're going to develop as part of this assignment in a previous module. Refine your topic, generate ideas, get that thesis done, and then draft your essay. So a couple notes here. Your final essay should be detailed in terms of what you're talking about, the evidence, sources, and support. And you're going to want to make sure that you have these required body paragraphs. So you're going to have an introduction and thesis. And then for the body paragraph content, here's the things that you need. You need to detail the topic. What context did you choose? Explain the specific problem, right? What's the issue here? So for one example, it's migration, or another example, let's just pick on another one here. We can talk about illness and climate change, whatever your topic is. And then you're going to explain the debate around the problem. Why is this a problem? Why hasn't it been resolved? What's the issue around migration and industry and workforce, for example? And then you want to identify at least one counter position. So think about what's another opposing position to the position you're taking, and talk about it in the context of your chosen discipline, such as industry and workforce, or activism and advocacy, and so on. One counter position, at least one. Then explain your idea and explain what your own idea is for how to resolve this, or advocate for someone else's idea who says, hey, here's how we can solve this to improve or address that problem. And at the very end, give me a suggestion for a public service announcement to help advance your idea. Here are the things you can talk about in that public service announcement in terms of what kind of PSA, what format would it be in, what media, who is the target audience, where would they encounter the PSA, and what's the purpose. These are all things you've thought about in previous assignments, so you can incorporate work that you've done there, or use the knowledge you've gained on PSAs from there to advocate for your own. Everything above should be supported with research and quotes and examples. So meaning that in here, you'll want a quote that just sort of helps you explain or detail. Okay. End with a focused conclusion. You do want to reference outside sources. Keep working in that MLA style. Continue to think about ethos, pathos, and logos, and then make sure you have that minimum of 4 sources and are doing that revision work and finalize your paper in MLA. All right, so that's been the instructions for this research essay assignment on climate change, environmental protection, and advancing public service announcements. If you have questions about this or anything else, let me know.